This is exactly how you can use ICT's daily market profiles to anticipate the low of day and high of day. In this video, I'll show you exactly why I was bullish today and how I used the Asian and London session to anticipate what the New York session will do. I show you exactly my thought process throughout the entire morning New York AM session, and I show you exactly when I entered my trade to go long. I highly recommend watching this entire video because it is insanely educational. Take your time, absorb all the information that is being given to you, and pay attention.
So here on the 5-minute time frame, we got Asian consolidating, tapping into a 4-hour gap. We then have the London open taking out these Asian highs, then taking out the Asian lows, and then moving to the upside. ES has taken out those Asian lows. So after consolidating at Asian open, ES took out Asian lows, and then we are now moving to the upside. My analysis here would be that ES and NQ continue pushing towards the upside. NQ could reach into that 24068.5 level today. These are the 8 a.m. highs and the 6 a.m. highs. 7 a.m. highs right there. So on a 1-minute time frame, still no point of reversal here. My thoughts are that price action is going to continue moving straight up to this level here. So my bias is pretty bullish for today. Coming in, Asia consolidation, London taking out Asian range lows. Same thing on ES. ES leaving behind these relative equal highs, and NQ actually leaving behind all-time highs. So that's the bias today. Pretty much long. As of right now, price might actually come down, take out these lows, and then move to the upside. That would be the retracement for New York, kind of like an OTE style setup. So that would probably look something like that, pushing all the way down and then moving up. Okay, so accumulation, manipulation, distribution, power of 3 type of move. At this point in time, it's still a matter of a waiting game. What do you see happening here on ES on the right side of your screen? ES is pushing towards those London Asian highs. Okay, so our bullish bias is definitely in play here, and that 24068.5 level still definitely a target. Is price going to need to target these lows to then move to that high right there? We're going to need to wait till market opens, so in about 20-ish minutes from now, to see what happens. But as of right now, it looks like we can literally push up to that high before market opens, and then have market open, maybe tap into the high if we didn't already hit it, and then reverse. I would love to find longs pushing towards those highs at market open with kind of power of 3 manipulation to the downside, Judah swing, and then continuation to the upside. That's the idea here coming into the day. So even if this were to inverse for that 9 a.m. CR model, you're technically going against the bias. Okay, so bias is bullish. I wouldn't be looking for shorts here, especially even though we inverse this right there. So we did inverse that right there. We did create that. No, we did not create an order block. Okay, so we didn't create an order block. However, we did inverse that little small gap there. I'm still heavily bullish. I want prices to move towards that high there. So let's see what happens. So at this point in time, you know, we can actually see this little IFEG here. The play, so right over here. IFEG right there being respected and held up. Now, I'm still bullish. I want price to push up, but I'm just going to show you something here. We have that right there. We got the closure below this candle right over there as well. Okay, so with this 9-12 candle closing beneath it. And then ever since that point, we kind of just respected that order block and the IFVG there. So shorts off of that level, of course, putting your stop loss at the highs, 2-point stop loss, extremely tight, and then targeting some type of low or liquidity level. So if you target the first swing lows, some equal lows right here on the 1 minute time frame, that's a 3.25 R to R trade. If you target this low down here, that's going to give you a 5.25 R to R trade. Of course, you're not going for the entire hourly range, but your R to R relative to your stop loss, like, you don't really need a 19.88 R to R trade, right? Realistically, you can literally target a 3.25 R here, go full size, and catch that trade in a few minutes. Okay. That being said, that would be the 9 a.m. CR model with the IFVG in the order block. I'm definitely still bullish, and I want prices to continue pushing higher here. I want that 24068.5 level to be tapped into. I also would like ES to reach into those Asian and London highs, ultimately previous day's highs as well. We'll see what happens there. So market open is in about 9 minutes. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm still leaning bullish until market open. All right, so it looks like those shorts would have played out. Okay, so shorts from up there using the 9 a.m. CR model definitely would have played out here. 2-point stop, targeting that low right there. That's a 5.25 R trade. Now, if you want to aim for the midpoint of this entire range, that gives you a solid like 10 R. About 10.13 R trade if you aim for the midpoint. If you aim for the opposing end, you're getting a solid 20 R. 20 R on the dot if you aim for this opposing end of the range. That being said, I think we're going higher, so that's why I'm not looking for shorts there based off the 9 a.m. CR model. Longs would be really, really nice. Let's see what market open does in about like 1 minute, 20 seconds. All right, so we have 9:30 market open here, and exactly what we, I guess what we analyzed, really, right? So I wanted that move lower to then move higher. It's exactly what happened. ES is lagging behind. We do not see that on ES. So ES is not there. Let's see if that level can be triggered right above us. That would be my final draw on liquidity for the entire day. Okay, so for the session. Really curious to see what happens here. ES should eventually reach into London highs as well. So assuming price can reverse, let's see if we hit the 8 a.m. lows, or sorry, 7 a.m. lows before we actually reverse. That would be best case scenario. You know, something I really find suspect are these equal lows beneath right over here from the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute time frame, we got these equal lows. I'm really just wondering, are we going to do exactly what I drew out before market open? Are we going to take out these lows to then move to the upside, right? Is this going to be that kiss of death, turtle soup? Everybody thinks we're bearish, break of structure, to then just move prices to the upside. Likely that's what's probably going to happen here, to be quite honest. We'll see what happens. I'm still heavily bullish both on NQ and ES here. But of course, we're going to need to wait for an entry. Right now, there's really no entry at all to go long. Do we got a 5-minute fair value gap here? Sure we do. We got one right there. I do think we're going to take out a low, though. Don't think we'll go higher without taking out a low. That's for sure. Ideally, taking out the low is the best case scenario. So we just took out that low. We want to see reversal to the upside now. We want to see price starting to push back to the upside after taking out that low. This is where longs would likely come in, targeting that high. We're going to wait and see what happens here. No 1 minute gaps opening up. Okay, 0 1 minute gaps opening up. I think we'll see what happens. I want a fair value gap to open up, either an IFVG or even just a fair value gap pushing prices towards the upside. I would like to see that to get an entry. So this looks like that pullback 4-hour fair value gap. Looks like we're going to probably head higher any moment here. Let's try to look for that reversal. We got these 7 a.m. lows that we're going to use. Let's see if we can catch a potential reversal here. This is going to be really interesting as we don't have any fair value gaps, but we might have a bullish order block form right over there. So we'll see. This is going to be a riskier trade setup, but understanding the bias is going to play an effect here. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we never closed above. We're still going to wait it out. Until we get to close above that, price action probably going to break lower. Until we close above that. No fair value gaps opening up either. Something to point out. We got about 15 seconds for this candlestick to close. Let's see if we get that. All right, so price closed above that order block. We are definitely more bullish than bearish here at this point in time. So longs at this point are valid. I'm entering now to get long right off that order block. We're putting our stop loss right at those lows. Now we're take profit right at the drawn liquidity that I have drawn out. Okay, so this would be all-time highs. We're targeting all-time highs here, and we're going long with the drawn liquidity there. Exactly what we drew out could be playing out here, right? That accumulation, manipulation at 9:30 market open, and then distribution to the upside. That's the play. That's the idea. Let's see what happens. So if you really wanted to, you can have 3 different TPs. I'm going to have 2. So here's first, right? The midpoint of the range. So the premium discount of the range. And then we have this rejection wick on the 1 minute time frame. That could be another TP spot. I'm going to avoid that and simply use this high as a reference point, but really the all-time highs being that final TP. Okay. So TP1 and then final TP with that bullish order block right over here. TP1 has just been hit. TP1 has just been hit. We're going to use this as a reference, right? Price respected that for this time here. We still never broke above that, just wicks doing the damage. As soon as we close above that, you can use that as a retrace to continue going higher. So we're going to use it as a reference point to look at. However, right now, midpoint being tapped into, we're seeing some type of rejection, especially with this 1 minute order block being right over there as well. So far, so good, though. I like this. My buy is still pretty much bullish towards those highs. Looks like ES might be in the middle of forming a failure swing low, while NQ still above, kind of expanding higher. If I start to see SMTs at this rejection wick right over here, I will remove some more profits. But if there's no SMTs, I'm holding everything through. We'll see what happens. What we really need to pay attention to is ES now. We want that to push above the 943 high. NQ is already above that 943 high. What we really don't want is NQ to be above inside the rejection wick, while ES is still not above this high right over here. That would be the SMT. That would cause me to remove profits at the rejection wick as well. Okay, so let's just mark this out, TP1, and then potential TP2. Okay, so for now, there's no limits. I'm going to manually do that myself if it happens. But yeah, right now it looks like ES just formed that failure swing low. We're going to continue moving to the upside. Bias still heavily bullish. The exact thing that I drew out prior to market open is what happened. So yeah, shorts did work out, but my bias was long. I wanted to look for longs, not shorts. TP1 right there at the midpoint of this range that we formed. Now, if you were aiming for the 7 a.m. range high and low midpoint, that was hit even before that, but I was not using that. I was using the current range. So we need ES to continue moving up here to invalidate that SMT. And Q, on a retracement, we should end up coming higher here. Turtle soup in these 1 minute lows into that 1 minute fair value gap. We should end up moving higher. We actually tapped into the order block as well right there, which is a good sign. And now we should see some type of expansion back to the upside, especially with ES above this high right over here, invalidating that SMT. So we should see that reversal point happening right now. This order block right here no longer being respected. You can see that, oh, actually, we created equal lows, right? So this candlestick low was 24016.5. This candlestick low was 24016.5. So equal lows there, basically respecting the order block. We did not disrespect that order block. So everything is still pretty much bullish. I'm not bearish. Still bullish. And that wick actually beneath us that's solid. It's exactly what we needed. You guys can see that order block still being respected. If I remove the line and just draw the box here, you'll see it even better. We are still within that order block. You can see bodies, wicks, just respecting it, and the midpoint being respected as well. Go look at that midpoint. Now, even if we take the body's midpoint right over there, you can see the candles respecting it. So pretty much still bullish here, and we want prices to move to the upside. What I will do is remove this rejection block. I'm not going to TP there. I am aiming for those all-time highs. So 24068.5, that's my draw on liquidity. I marked that out prior to market open, even before the market open. That's the idea. We should reach into that level. The only thing that kind of throws me off now on ES that I've been looking at are all of these lows, right? Stacking up beneath us, low resistance liquidity. But I do think we'll end up targeting those highs before those lows are hit. That's my idea, at least. That's my thesis. Lots of consolidation going on, 9:55. It's almost 10 a.m. So we'll see what the hourly open of the next candle has for us in about 5-ish minutes. But we're in the macro now. We should start to see some type of expansion, at least to the upside, or even to the downside to stop us out. We'll see. We might actually be having SMTs here. So ES is above these highs over here, and Q still not there yet. I'm not going to TP anything. If ES gets above these, so 910 and 925 highs, if we get above those highs and tap into London and Asian highs, while NQ is not above these highs and not at all-time highs at the 24068.5 level, I'm going to remove profits at this rejection wick. Okay, so I'm going to redraw that. I know I just took it off, but I just need to be safe here. So ES is almost at those levels. We really don't want that SMT
Of course, guys, remember SMT is a 3-candle formation. So right now there's no real SMT other than the fact that we are above these highs on ES. NQ isn't. But there's no 3-candle formation, so there's no SMT just yet. We're inside of that rejection wick. So we'll see what happens with ES here. I'm going to be manually taking out profits if this happens. And alright guys, I'm manually TPing here as we speak. So there was a TP at this rejection wick. We have the SMT there, potential SMT. Right, it's not an SMT as we don't have the 3-candle formation, but potential SMT. So 2 TPs hit there. Let's see if we can close above this fair value gap and use it to push prices to the upside. What we also need is a closure above the midpoint of this rejection wick. Okay, that's what we need. We do not want that to be respected. ES, unfortunately, already, well, not unfortunately, but already at the London highs and approaching Asia highs right there. The only issue being that NQ is not. NQ is not at the drawn liquidity for us yet. So we'll see what happens. We're going to analyze what happens at this midpoint as well. So you can see order block here respected. Right? Price used it to push up with that 942 candle. And then we had another order block here. Price used that to push up. And now we have another order block right over here. Price never tapped into it yet, but there is an order block there. Hopefully we get the closure above this fair value gap here. Okay, we need that closure above, and then we'll use that to move prices towards the final drawn liquidity. Also, as price starts to move higher into that rejection wick, I'm going to draw the midpoint and just analyze where it's at and see what price does around that level. Alright, so big wick to the downside with that 10 a.m. open. We should end up continuing higher here. That's the idea. Into that fair value gap. Wicks doing the damage and then moving prices to the upside here. 2 TPs were hit, so we're absolutely fine even if we get, if price reverses here. But the idea is for price to go up. Looks like the order block was eventually hit. We actually did tap into it. We're respecting it. Now pushing higher. We got to see what happens with this next 1-minute candle. If we can close above these highs and also above that fair value gap, use it to push up. Right now, not looking the best. I know I'm talking down on my setup here, but with ES above at the London highs, I don't know. We have the SMT. We're inside a 1-minute rejection wick. There's a great chance that price reverses here on us. However, Asian highs are still open for ES. So that's kind of like the last straw for us here. And this midpoint, if we reject there, I think I'm going to fully close the trade out. That would still probably give me a nice 2.5 hour trade. Yeah, about 2.8 if we close full TP at that midpoint, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Price could be approaching that midpoint here. Let's go expand lines to the right. We're approaching that midpoint right there. We do not want an SMT as that happens, but let's see as soon as we tap it what happens. So we got the closure above that fair value gap. That's going to be used to push prices higher here. See what happens at the midpoint. We should tap into it regardless if price wants to reverse on us or if it wants to continue going up. We should tap into that midpoint. And Q still not even tapping that midpoint yet. Just like edging us really. What I'll do, for the sake of it, I'll remove some more profits right now.
Okay, I've removed profits right there as well for the sake of my sanity. I would have liked this trade to play out a lot quicker, but I don't choose what the market does. Right now, we're rejecting at that midpoint, so to me, that TP was solid. Stops are at break even. They've been at break even for a minute now, but I think I told you guys already that, but whatever. So 3 TPs already hit here. We have final TP remaining, and yep, we'll see what happens there. ES has tapped into those Asian highs, so that's something to be wary about. I still do want NQ to tap into the drawn liquidity, which is 24068.5. It's the all-time highs. I would like NQ to reach that level today. That's the thesis. So right now, you clearly see we got that closure above, but we also have, right there, this little candle is the order block that's in play right now. Now we'll see if we close beneath that or if we respect it, right? So far we're respecting it, wicks in it, and then closing back above the midpoint of that rejection wick. But this SMT with ES is not what we wanted to see at all. We'll see what happens though here. Ideally, we should see the push up to at least the high of that rejection block from this point here. So that order block no longer in play, okay? Looks like price is moving down. Looks like maybe the SMT is going to be respected and held up here, and we might be getting stopped at break even on the runners. It's always a possibility. Ideally, I would want price to still move higher towards that draw. So 24068.5, that is my final draw. I do want that to be hit here. To be honest, I still do think that's going to be reached. I don't think we're going to be stopped out here. We have the midpoint of this rejection wick. Still not tapping into it yet. I do think prices are going to move higher. From the look of things right now, that TP at the midpoint of that rejection wick looked solid. Very solid. So let's see what happens. I'm really assuming prices are going to start moving back to the upside now. We could see the next expansion, like fully expanding through that level and continuing to expand up with speed, since ES does have higher targets like the previous day's highs. That being said, my final TP is going to be at that high, and I'm not leaving a runner for today at all. Okay, so final TP for me is going to be the all-time highs. That's going to be that 24068.5 level, and I'm not going to leave any runners going higher. Of course, that's if we get there. Right now, NQ back into that rejection wick that we've been respecting up until this point. We have 2 IFEGs that were formed here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at this level here. It's going to be real interesting. Right, so we got 3 highs stacked above us right there, right here, and of course the final draw on liquidity. But those highs are important. The midpoint of the rejection block has been tapped into once again. Let's see if we react or push through. Ideally right now, since we reacted already and closed above, we need to see that quick push through. That's the idea right now. Quick push through. So we're now above that high there. Let's see if we can finally expand into that final draw. 24068.5 should be hit anytime now. Okay, yep. So we did hit that. I was just paying attention to my other chart now. Yeah, so that was the trade of the day. Final draw on liquidity was reached. Let's just, I guess, break this down in this call here that we're having. So I don't need to do this in another video. But yeah, let's go ahead and break this down. The bias, everything that happened was drawn out before. I did tell everybody maybe get that retracement down due to swing lower to then expand up. Why was I saying that? Well, a lot of you guys might have been confused right over here. So pay attention right now. Pay attention, okay? We took out Asian highs right there on NQ. That did not happen on ES. So let's go on the, I guess, 5 or 15 minute. To be honest, we'll probably jump to the 5 minute. You'll see it a lot better. Okay, so on the 5 minute here, what you notice is that NQ took out those Asian range highs. Now, I put my Asian highs at the open. Technically, Asian highs are actually right here. Okay? And technically, Asian highs for ES would be right here. So Asian highs on ES would be right there. Okay? We took out Asian highs right there. We took out Asian lows right there. Okay, that's important to point out. The more important part here would be the fact that we are consolidating on the higher time frame. All of this is consolidation, okay, including this little pullback there, including this little run up here, all consolidation within range. Then we finally take out the range low, we manipulate. This clearly looks like the manipulation, right? Clear as day. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Inside of the distribution leg, we're going to have multiple retracements. Okay? ICT actually caught a trade at 7 a.m. We needed the Judah swing lower, and then he caught longs, right? So he was waiting for that retracement expansion to the upside as well. Further proven the bias was bullish, okay? We had relative equal highs all above us. That's previous day's highs. We had all-time highs, which is this level here, above us as well. That was never hit. So after taking out the Asian lows, respecting a 4-hour PD array, it looks like internal range liquidity has been tapped. That means we're going to go towards the external range liquidity, and above that, or right at that external range liquidity, we need to have some type of key level or clear drawn liquidity. What is that? All-time highs. The 24068.5 level, okay? Now, we manipulate those lows, we come back to the upside, we're starting to expand higher. What do you notice? You know what I want to do? I will rewind the chart before 9:30 market open, okay? So this is 9:25 right here. At 9:25, you'll see ES was not at the London highs, and we were not at the current day's highs as well. Okay, current day high happened right at the open. Previous day's highs were also available. Same thing, previous day's highs were also available, but previous day's highs on NQ were hit at 755. They were not hit on ES. Okay, ES still has those relative equal highs above at this point in time, 925. NQ doesn't necessarily have those equal highs anymore. However, what we do have is the final draw on liquidity. What does that mean? We're going to anticipate a deep retracement, kiss of death, as most of you CRT traders know it. deep retracement beneath a level. We're using the 7 a.m. level, high and low, so that's where CRT comes into play here. Deep retracement and then expansion to the upside. That's what happened on NQ to reach into that final draw on liquidity, and that's what happened on ES to reach into the Asian highs, London highs, and current high of day. Okay, so that's the thesis going into the day, right? Asia consolidated, London took out Asian lows, and guess what New York is going to do? Expand towards the draws on liquidity. Why would you be bullish if Asian highs were also taken? Because the Asian highs were taken within a range. This is internal range liquidity. If this move happened here, it would have been a lot different. But the move didn't happen there. It happened here. That's within the range. Within the range, right? So this is all a range. And you could even go as far as saying this is the range low, right? So range low, range high. That's the impulse, okay? Obviously, we're using Asian lows for our range, but still, any of those work, okay? Realistically, the actual range is that low right there, okay? We take out those lows with the Asian lows and then move to the upside. And that's exactly why we were bullish. And funny enough, I posted a tweet speaking about this literally yesterday. I might fucking be a time traveler for all you guys. I'm just joking, guys. I'm not a time traveler. No, in all honesty, that was pure fucking luck. If I'm gonna be real, that was pure luck. And that's it. Yeah, so I released that yesterday. Basically explain. Let's actually pull that up here. Let's pull that up. Right over here. Honestly, man, like, it's the first one. So literally the first one. Asia consolidates. Okay, step one. Asia consolidates. Cool, we're consolidating, right? Creating range high, range low, consolidating. London does what? Manipulates. London raids one side. London manipulates one side. We manipulate this side. Why are we not considering that a manipulation? Why? Because it's within the range. Internal range. I don't care about internal range manipulation. I care about, okay, where's the manipulation outside of the range? And that's going to give me the bias. Now, manipulations internally are going to give you entries like this. So if I advance the chart, like this manipulation, internally inside of the range, manipulation beneath these lows, 7 a.m. lows, 1 hour CRT lows, that manipulation is the entry. So manipulation internally will give you entries. Manipulation external is going to give you the bias and draws and liquidity. And then New York delivers to the opposite side. Now, the only caveat with that is if the opposite side of the Asian range was already reached, right? So it was. Okay, we got London highs already reached. Cool. Previous day's highs already reached. Cool. Was there any other drawn liquidity that needed to be reached? Absolutely. The highs right here. 24,068.5. And that was eventually tapped into right there. And that gives you the full 52.75 point move. And now, of course, there's a bunch of other scenarios that would play out. This didn't happen, so we cancel it. This didn't happen, so we cancel it. This did not happen, so we cancel it. This did not happen, so we cancel it. That means we only have this left. Cool. This is what's going to happen. Okay? Of course, guys, it's not 100% going to play out every single time. However, this is the most high probability. This is the most high probability. This is the most high probability. What the fuck does that mean? That means if this is happening and this is happening, then this should happen with a high probability. If this, then this. If this, then this. If this, then this. If then. That's how you have to think. If then. That's how algorithms think. Talk to a coder
A coder is going to code something. If this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. That's how code, that's how script works. Okay? Anyways, appreciate you guys taking the time to actually watch this entire video. If you did, you definitely learned a lot more than what I've been teaching recently through CRT, right? So I've only been focusing on CRT. I haven't been really focusing on the way I look at market structure and look at price away from CRT, okay? That's what I'm trying to move and shift TSR into. The understanding of the market and then implementing CRT as your entry model if you choose to do so. All right? Take care, guys. Have a nice one. We caught a banger fucking trade today. Right over here, taking out those 7 a.m. lows, order block forms. We go long, targeting the final draw on liquidity. That tied into bias and the how we actually created and formed the bias is very important as well. Okay? Take care, guys. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.